You're gonna, you're not going anywhere tonight?
We may. I gotta talk Jack into it. I left my car over at Brent's Services.
Where'd you leave?
I left my car at
Over
Brent's
at Bread
Services.
Service. Well, you're downtown, where the action is.
I only have memory for 20 more minutes, Scott. So
Okay.
can't get the whole thing the same.
Okay. Well, we're doing the best we can. That's all we can be asked.
Scott, by the way,
Yes.
we're talking to Raider on Thursday.
Okay, good.
Talking to him. What, on the radio?
He's a young man running for office.
No, I'm saying on the radio.
No, we're talking politics.
Oh, okay.
Talking how to kick Todd Crandall's ass.
I've seen him in Facebook.
And we're streaming live, so.
But we love Todd. We love him, you know.
He's a man of the people.
Yeah, remember the North Point Government Center. He's a man of the people.
Great job, Mr. Crandall. Way to hold your promises.
Go Dave Raider.
Saturday, the Savage Nation, Coast to Coast with George Norrie. Outdoorsman Radio Show, The Garden Show, You Ought to Know, The Sex Show, Power Trading Radio, Underwriter's Corner, and Tooth Talk with Dr. Jonathan Silver.
So you were talking earlier, Jimmy, about needing 5 seats on the Republican side to change the veto the way it's going now. So you would be 1 seat. Ed Hale seems like he would be the 2nd seat.
Well, Ed's running for Baltimore County Council, so we need Senate seats. So there's 5.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So the one, yeah. So the one
Corner.
that's really should go Republicans, the 42nd. So we need another 4.
Well, I'm wondering, is there anybody else at this point that you're aware of? That's really what my question was. I thought Hale was in there.
Nah, I'm
Okay, well, thanks.
Okay, we are back. We're getting into discussions that are too deep, too philosophical, too extreme. I'm starting to get a headache.
important though.
All right, we're going to talk with some of our callers who have been waiting, and we're starting off with Tom. Where is Tom? Here's Tom. Tom, good evening.
Hi, Pat. Good evening to you and Jimmy. Listen, I'm a retired gentleman. I live over here in West Baltimore section of Baltimore City, Hunting Ridge 10 Hills area. The same neighborhood retired Mayor Sheila Dixon lives in. I wanted to call you. 2 weeks ago, you had a conversation, and I was driving at the time and couldn't, and it was 2 different callers extolling the virtues of living in Baltimore City, how wonderful the mayor and the city council were. They made it sound like it was a Shangri-La to live in, but I have a little bit of a different point of view I'd like to give you. I wasn't sure if it would be appropriate to call tonight, but
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead.
I think I should. A couple of weeks ago, we have recycling here, and the house I live in, individual home, property taxes like $5,000 a year. We have once a week trash pickup, once a week recycling. And the recycling comes early in the morning, and I have my own large recycling can that I purchased. The gentleman came and accidentally threw it in the truck and destroyed the can. Within 15 minutes, I called the 311 number to alert them that this had happened. A gentleman from Public Works did come out to the house and met with me, and he said, you know, there's nothing we can do. You need to call the law department and file a claim. And I said, gee, that's a lot to go through for this. The first time ever, I've lived in this neighborhood 40 years, I have never called City Hall. I called the councilman, Chris Burnett's office.
Yes.
And of course, I wasn't allowed to talk to the councilman, but I got his assistant on the phone, and she was very nice. And she said, look, I have top-level contact people that I can call. Will resolve this for you by tomorrow morning. The next morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, a city truck came, a small white truck. The gentleman carried a black trash can that had been used, and he put it on my porch and left. The can looks like something you would find in an alley where folks had thrown it out. Believe it or not, the can had a large hole in the bottom, no top. There was a dead rat in the can and a bag of dog droppings in there. And they left this on my porch.
So what do you think happened? Was it on purpose because they didn't like you calling them, or it was just the normal competence of the city administration?
I think it's a combination of two. The stunning part was when she said she had top contact
Yes.
there, and this is a quality of life issue. You know, it's either the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen in my life, or it's just.
Well, all right, we'll make it short. Did you call them back?
I called back a total of 8 times and never got a return phone call.
Oh my goodness.
But I guarantee you, gentlemen, that when they have the next community meeting and when these folks come at election time, I'm going to be present. I'm only sorry I don't live in the county, which will happen within the next year. You folks have really touched on some good points tonight, and I just wanted to call it. It may seem like a lighthearted thing, but it's the old pebble in the shoe that the ancient Romans used to worry more about the small issues than the Roman legions taking over other areas. And I just thought I'd bring that to your attention.
All right.
Well,
Thank you, Tom.
Look, Tom,
Wow.
Quality of life issues are significant. The problem is we've seen a decrease in the quality of life in Baltimore County, and a lot of the issues that persisted in the city were transplanting into the county right now, and by design. And let me tell you, that is frustrating to a lot of people that live in the county. And people should not be dismissive of quality of life issues.
No, it's very important. When I go out and talk to people, I always ask them 3 questions. I say, number one, do you think the county is better off today than it was 5 or 10 years ago? The answer is always no. Are you satisfied with the condition of the county right now? Do you feel happy? Do you feel confident? No. Are you confident about the future of the county? No. Well, they did a poll, 74% of the people in Baltimore County feel that way. They're scared to death that it's going to continue to degrade. You know, you're going to wind up getting service like this gentleman. And of course, we have a lot of problems. You take your lid off your trash can, you'll get a $300 fine real quick.
Right.
You call the county Department of Permits and you want to get something fixed like your sidewalk, forget about it. You won't get a return phone call.
Shoot somebody on the street the next day.
Well, the thing is now, Jimmy, I mean, they see a vision in the future of Baltimore City. They don't want to go to that. It's like that city on a hill. Well, that city on a hill is Baltimore City. They don't want to go there.
Right. And
they want a leader, or they want leaders like you and me that are going to make sure that doesn't happen. And that takes some courage and it takes some work. I mean, we can't have politics as usual in Baltimore County. And I tell people all the time, I say, if I don't win this job, and 4 years from now, like through the waving of a magic wand, somebody comes to me and says, look, we changed the rules. You don't have to get elected county executive anymore. We can appoint you. And we've decided that you said a lot of good things, so we're now going to appoint you 4 years later. I'm going to say to you, forget about it. I can't fix it now. It's gone.
It's real simple, Pat. The taxpayer, the taxpayer that is a citizen, does not feel like they're a priority. They've been put on the back burner. Illegals come first. Welfare comes first. Everything else comes first. The people that are out there that are the contributors, that are doing the right thing, the property owners, the working class, the American taxpayer, classify that however you want.
No accountability.
It's constantly taking a back seat. Yeah. And that's really, at the end of the day, one of the key things that led, honestly, to Donald Trump.
There's no question about it. There's no question about it. All right, here is Steve in Bel Air. Steve, good evening. Steve, you hung up, but you were hanging on for 3 days, so we understand. It's understandable. You can call us back because you did hang on for a very long time. All right, here is James in Pikesville. James, good evening. James, you hung on for a semi-long time. Are you there? Well, you got to speak up, James. You're on the air now. We're breathlessly waiting here. We're very excited. Yes, go ahead, James. Earth to James. Earth to James. Is there someone there? Let us know. Do you have oxygen? Is there oxygen left, James? I guess James tried. There was an effort. There was an effort of some sort there. Here is Mike in Parkville. Mike, good evening.
Hi, how you doing?
We're fine, thank you. Yes, we can.
Great. My question is that the courts and the mayor's office is always considered separate, but even though they're different branches in Baltimore City, I think they have the same traits, the Democrat Party.
Well, there's no question about that.
Yeah.
The governors haven't appointed any Republicans, that's for sure.
Yeah, I just feel a lot of the problems is a combination that both the mayor and the judges can be more quiet because there's less knowledge, but the advocate groups, along with the media, are actually behind a lot of this.
Well, Jimmy, the thing about the judges is they're elitist, they're secretive, they're untouchable, and they are kind of separate in their robes from the rest of the common people.
Well, they're not really that secretive. I mean, anybody can sit in a court. The judiciary can be held accountable, and they have in the past. The example I use on this all the time, Pat, is MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. There was an outrage when it came to drinking and driving, and judges were giving drunk drivers very lenient sentences. You had MAD. They were sitting in the courtrooms. They were holding these judges accountable, and the message was sent that if judges were going to be lenient on that, they would be held accountable. And that message was sent, and we've seen the transformation of drinking and driving laws in this country as a result of it.
Yeah.
That same public outrage does not exist when it comes to the revolving door with violent crimes in major U.S. cities across the country.
There's no question
And
about
the
it.
problem with it is, I'm not being dismissive of this. For the most part, you look at the homicide rate in Baltimore City, it's bad people killing other bad people. That doesn't mean that there's not collateral damage. It doesn't mean that they're not innocent people that get caught up in the dragnet of all this. I'm not being dismissive of this. But there is not a public outrage. The media likes to run with it, and it's good red meat for...
That's all it is. That's all it is. There are no investigative reports. There are no... When is the last time Johns Hopkins, besides doing studies on guns, did a study on violence and crime? Now, when we say these are bad people killing bad people, that's very true. But the fact of the matter is, how did they get to be bad people over 20 years? Nobody is really taking a hard look and being honest about how that occurred, okay? The other part about it is that the people in Baltimore City are in a very tough position. If they stand up and they want to work together and have unity, they can't find leadership in the city council. They can't find leadership in the mayor. This mayor is starting to move a little bit because the problems are so overwhelming, so outrageous. She has no choice. She's not going to get, well, she'd probably get reelected. I'll tell you one thing I'd like to see happen in Baltimore City is these runoff elections, nonpartisan runoff elections. You don't run with a party, Democrat, Republican. You don't run with any party. And then the top two people who get the top two most votes, they then run off in a general election. Because the Democrat Party has total and absolute control over politics in Baltimore City.
Yeah. Look, the other part of this, Mark Levin talks about this all the time, you have to be operating where you're living in a civil society to begin with, which in major U.S. cities, you're not. So law and order and all this stuff becomes secondary. And when you have large, and I'm scratch that, because I don't believe this, but when you have portions of the electorate that do not value life, they don't care about your life, they don't care about their own life, that is very difficult to legislate or police your way out of. And when you have a 16-year-old that wakes up in the morning and care less whether they live or die, that's pretty challenging.
Well, the reason is because they're part of the largest industry in the city of Baltimore. The industry in the city of Baltimore that functions 24 hours a day and makes billions of dollars is the drug industry. And those young people work for the drug industry. Right away when they quit high school or they don't hang around high school, they immediately go to work as moles or mules for the drug industry. The generals sit in their Lexus and their Mercedes-Benz up on the street under the street light. This is a major industry in Baltimore City. The drug industry is a major, it is a top 10 business in the United States.
Yeah.
And in Baltimore City, it's flourishing. I do see movement. I don't see a lot, but I see some movement. We'll see how far it goes. I wish them well. I can tell you that. But you've got to start right at the beginning and put the fire out in the house before it burns the house down. That's why I say leadership. Giuliani, Mothers Against Drunk Driving made a difference. Giuliani made a difference. Winston Churchill made a difference. People and organizations and movements can make a difference if you're determined to do it.
I'm always concerned that you're not stripping away civil liberty at the end of that. And, you know, it was a question with the new commissioner when he held his little kickoff press conference where he's like, we're going to do things different. We're going to target the bad guys. We're going to be more aggressive in our policing. And a question that came up time and time again was, how do you plan on doing that? You have Kevin Davis, who I thought was doing a good job. He had a major...
They were trying a lot of things.
Well, and he was going after the trigger pullers. He was prioritizing his resources.
That's what you have to do.
He was getting officers out of the cruisers. He was doing the things that needed to happen. Again, it's a slow turn. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes a long time to rebuild a very damaged relationship between the BPD and the citizens in Baltimore City. He was taking steps in the right direction. Now, you're right. You can look at what Giuliani did. There's also a lot of people.
And not only Giuliani, I use him as an example because he's famous, but the current New York neighborhood police sectoring program is the biggest success in the world. I mean, they have dropped down heroin, they've dropped down cocaine, they've dropped down neighborhood crime tremendously because they are there. They are there.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back to our callers.
Okay, so we wanted to go back to, we're still streaming, Todd Crandall.
You know, one of the things they're doing that's interesting up there, they have a